This video is going to go over how to write a killer scientific abstract and avoid killing your abstract with a lot of unnecessary information. First, let's ask, what is an abstract? An abstract is a self-contained, short, and powerful statement that describes a larger work. Basically, it's a written version of the 30-second elevator pitch. Components of an abstract differ according to discipline, but in general, you will include scope, purpose, methods, results, an overall conclusion, and impact of your study. What an abstract is not, is it's not a review of the literature or a passage from a larger manuscript, nor does it refer extensively to other works. Importantly, an abstract is not abstract by definition. The usual sections defining a structured abstract are the background, methods, results, and conclusions. Other headings with similar meanings may be used. For instance, introduction in place of background, or findings in place of results. Some journals and conferences include additional sections, such as objectives, which would fall between background and methods, and limitations, which goes at the end of the abstract. The background section should be the shortest part of the abstract and should very briefly outline the following information. 1, what is already known about the topic related to the study in question, and 2, what is not known about this subject and hence what the study intended to examine. In most cases, the background can be framed in just 2 to 3 sentences, with each sentence describing a different aspect of the information referred to above. Sometimes even a single sentence may suffice. The purpose of the background, as the word itself indicates, is to provide the reader with a background of the study and hence to smoothly lead into a description of the methods employed in the investigation. Some scientists publish papers with abstracts that contain lengthy background sections. There are some situations, perhaps, where this may be justified, but in most cases, a longer background section means less space remains for the presentation of your results, which is unfortunate because the reader or your conference attendee is interested in your study because of its findings and not because of its background. The methods section is the second longest section, as it should contain enough details for the reader to know what was done and how. This may include information relating to the following questions. For instance, what is the research design? What was the sample size? What treatments were used? At what dosage? And what primary measures and outcomes were there? However, often abstracts lack a lot of this key information, which makes it very difficult to understand what was done and how it was done. The results section is the most important part of the abstract, and nothing should compromise its range and quality. This is because the readers who peruse an abstract do so to learn about the findings of the study. The results section should therefore be the longest part of the abstract and should contain as much detail about the findings as the word count permits. For instance, you want to include findings about your primary and possibly secondary outcomes, and you want to express this in both words and numerically. Numerical information about the analyses includes measures of central tendency and variance, and whenever possible, effect sizes and confidence intervals. Important negative findings should also be reported in this section. It is bad writing to state, for instance, response rates differ significantly between diabetic and non-diabetic patients. We don't know which direction they were different, and we really don't know much about this result. A better version would be the response rate was higher in non-diabetic than diabetic patients, 49% versus 30% respectively, p less than 0.01. Last is the conclusion section. This section should contain the most important take-home message of the study expressed in a few precisely worded sentences. Usually, the finding is highlighted here. The finding that is highlighted here relates to the primary outcome measure. However, other important or unexpected findings should also be mentioned. It is also customary, but not essential, for the authors to express an opinion about the theoretical or practical implications of the findings or the importance of their findings for the field. Despite this brevity, this section has the most impact on the average reader because readers generally trust authors and take their assertions at face value. For this reason, the conclusion should be very honest and authors should not claim more than their data demonstrate. You also may include future directions or planned experiments at the end of the abstract. These can provide information about how your results fit into your area of research, and they can also provide a link to any updated results you may include in your presentation at a conference. But please, whatever you do, do not just put "more research is needed" or "will be discussed." Those are vague, nondescript statements and are not exciting. In contrast to an abstract for a manuscript or other article, you will often write this abstract for the conference several weeks to months before you present the results. This can make it difficult to determine exactly what to include, as you may have experiments or data analyses in progress for which you do not have results at the time you submit your abstract. Don't panic. It will be okay. While it is much more powerful and interesting to state your results, we can work with occasions in which you don't have results. We might say what we expect to find and what this will mean, or how we plan to conduct the analyses. When writing your abstract, keep in mind that this will typically be the only information the conference attendees will have about your research. Because attendees will use your abstract to determine whether they are interested in visiting a poster, make sure that your abstract is easy to understand and highlights the importance of your findings in a way that will be interesting for conference attendees. This can be difficult when trying to work with a small word limit, so focus on the most important results and conclusions that you're trying to convey. Good luck.